Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you a video on compound interest and the rule of 72. For those that might not know the rule of 72, basically it's a simplified way to determine how long an investment will take to double in value given a fixed rate of annual interest over those periods of years. So basically, well, and it's pretty accurate. It's a rule of thumb, but it is pretty accurate. Here's a chart from Investopedia. Basically, with our rate of return, we can see that it's pretty accurate to the actual number of years that it would take to double that return. As we see, there's a minimal difference with those calculations. But how it works is basically you start with the number 72, and you take your interest rate. This is the interest rate, usually an average of 7.2% if you're looking at the stock market or other investments on an average over all the years. And you divide 72 by this interest rate, 7.2%, we end up with 10 years. Now what this means is that in 10 years my original investment is going to double. So for an example, let's take $10,000. So if we have $10,000, that means every 10 years it's going to double. So what does that look like for somebody who, let's say they only get the average interest rate of the stock market for their retirement plan. You're in your 20s, so we'll say the next 40 years. That means that basically in 10 years, this is the amount we're going to have. In 20 years, we're going to have another doubling period. In 30 years, that's going to double as well. And in 40 years, we'll have our end result. So basically, we take this $10,000, multiply it by 2, and then we do that again. And then we do that again. And then we do that again. So somebody who saves $10,000 in their 20s, let's say when a retirement account that they start at the first company they work for, $10,000 in your 20s is going to equal $160,000 for you in 40 years. Now, if you're able to get a higher interest rate, things definitely get more interesting. Let's say we're able to get a 10% interest rate. That means in 7.2 years, we're going to have those doubling periods that we talked about. If you're able to get, maybe you got a really good deal on real estate, so we're hitting a 15% interest rate on the investment. Every 4.8 years, you're doubling your money. So just think of how many more doubling compounds you could have either in your lifetime or in the lifetime of your investment, given that general rule. A lot of people don't, they kind of blindly put money into an IRA or 401k, not really knowing what it's going to do. But as you can see, over time, with compounding interest, that's what this Rule 72 represents, the compounding interest. How long is it going to take to double your investment? And once we know that, how many years do we have to let that investment sit there? Is all going to depend on how much money we actually end up with at the end. And you can play around with those numbers, but the Rule of 72, as we see, according to Investopedia's sheet, it is very accurate when you're doing the mathematical calculations for how long it takes to double those periods. So I would suggest using that just to think about maybe your investment projections. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. I appreciate your views. Have a good day.